Hi there, Parent Chat 4 to 9 members. This is video 11 in the Parent Chat vlog. The topic today is going to be about how to deal with your child or your teen's first love relationship. So let's say that they've been liking a boy or a girl and they've been dating or going out on group dates, depending the age range of your child right now. It could just be group dating. However, if they start to escalate and have a conversation that leads to entering into some form of committed relationship or romantic relationship, then that's kind of a whole new territory for parents to deal with, especially their first time around. And what I can say is, through my own experience with my daughter, I guess the best advice I could give is to try to be as open as possible, but you also need to create the boundaries within the relationship. So what I mean by that is, what are the boundaries going to be? Now, the boundaries are going to be different based on age range, as I mentioned earlier. And let's say your child has a boyfriend or girlfriend and they're in middle school. Well, that's going to be very different boundaries than it would be if he or she was in high school. So the boundaries you can create in middle school would be obviously group dating, because you don't want your child to be on a one-on-one date with somebody alone, unchaperoned. They're not ready for that kind of freedom. Okay, so that's the group dating is simple. You drop them off, they go see a movie or they do some type of activity, you go back and you pick them up, you're close by in case something happens. So that's all fine. So that's about boundaries. In high school, it's a little different. They're a little older. They may have a little bit of freedom. They can actually meet somewhere and do something without a chaperone, without anybody close by. As they get older, 16, 17 years old, they can probably be then picked up by the person or a group of friends. They have their license, they have their cars. It's very, very, very nerve-wracking when your child gets picked up by their friends who are newly licensed drivers. I went through this myself, and it is so difficult to allow this to happen. But if you do not allow this to happen, then your child or your teenager does not have the opportunity to have those experiences, and also they don't have the opportunity to grow within their peers and to not only just enjoy the freedom of, oh, my friend gets to pick me up and I get to go do this and do that, and there's no parent picking us up or dropping us off, and they feel a little bit grown up. Without that type of experience for them, they're not going to have the kind of growth that they need for when to learn more responsibilities and to take on other challenges they have. Now, the first couple of times I had to do this with my child, I was very, very nervous. It doesn't make it easier, and the older they get, it doesn't get easier. All the way through her college years, I was very, very apprehensive in this area, because you're not just trusting your child to get in the car with someone else, you're trusting that driver to obey the laws and not be distracted by certain things in the car, radio, talking, cell phone. It all is very, very, very nerve-wracking as a parent. It really, really is. But I survived it. Nothing happened, thank goodness. And hopefully you'll have the same experiences that I've had. Now, let's get back to the topic. The main topic here is about when a parent needs to deal with the child's first love. A lot of times we like to call it, old school people like to call it puppy love, right? And in this area, what I want to encourage you to do is really try to make that connection with your child by understanding their point of view based on what they've experienced thus far. Meaning, if it's their first encounter with and they're learning how to deal with the feelings and the emotions and understanding how they care about this person, and first of all, in their mindset, especially if it's the girl, because females are more emotional and more attached get attached quicker than boys do. But let's just say it is a girl we're speaking about right now, and she's has her first boyfriend, and he's calling her all the time, and she's getting that butterfly feeling, and she's feeling important and special, and all those things are happening. And so in their mindset, they think that the world is just a wonderful place, and it's just so this is going to be my boyfriend forever, and I'm going to marry him. And she may fantasize about her wedding and having kids with him and having her life with him and all of that. And that is all part of the growing process. It's all part of developing their own sense of adventure, sense of experiences, and really needing to learn the process of when you're dating and when you're acquiring these feelings and your emotions and how to navigate through that. Now, as the parent's point of view, sometimes when we see this happening, we think, okay, I should say I think, because I can only speak for myself. You automatically think it's not going to be forever, it's going to be for a few weeks or a month maybe, because we all know that in relationships in high school, they're short-lived, because something happens, or you just get too busy in your everyday life and in your sports and your activities and your after-school obligations that the relationship takes a back burner and then fizzles out. But what we have to understand is that in their experience thus far, they just think that they're just in this wonderful bubble, right? And so what I would encourage parents to do would be just to be supportive no matter what point they're at in this process. So if it's in the beginning when everything is all great and just wonderful, or if it's kind of been nurtured and kind of been developed and they've had a few arguments already, or if it's kind of dwindling down and they're kind of contemplating if they should break up with this person. Whatever the stage that they're in, just be supportive, because you want them to have their own experience so that they can compare it later on in their future relationships, and they can understand the steps that they took and the choices that they made, and maybe they can reflect on that and make different choices for themselves in their next relationships, and hopefully it becomes better. I'm not saying that your son or daughter cannot have a long-lasting relationship with somebody in this age group. Yes, it is possible. Statistically, probably not, but it is possible for them to be with somebody for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. It's all possible. But as a parent, what I just encourage, and I just really want to, I really want you to know that the best possible resource you can be to your child right now is to take on the supportive role, and whatever that is. So the first one is to create the boundaries and understand what they are for whatever your situation is, age range, responsibility level, maturity level of your son or daughter. And the second one is to kind of play a back seat and be supportive. You know how it felt when you liked someone in high school for the first time, or even maybe intermediate school for the first time, and how it was really hard. And the one thing that I know you really didn't want to hear was people would just reduce your experience or reduce your relationship to, oh, it's just puppy love, it's not a big deal. Well, to your son or daughter, it is a big deal. It is a big deal. And so we want to make sure that they know that we care and we understand, and we're not going to give any more information or advice on it until they come to us and say, Mom or Dad, I'm really kind of stuck in a situation. I don't know what to do. I have all these feelings and I don't know how to, I don't know what to do. That's when you step in. And even when you step in, you just want to be as supportive as possible. Now, there is also another area, yeah? Some of your parents must be thinking right now, well, Celeste, what if I don't like the person that they like? I've been there. Oh my goodness, when my daughter was in high school, she was hung up over this boy that I did not care for. He talked to me on the phone once, and he was so incredibly disrespectful. And yes, my first thought was to just ban my daughter from ever communicating with him again. But then I thought, well, if I was to do that, then she wouldn't have been able to evaluate his attitude and choices that he made for her to come up to her own conclusion and make her own choices. So even though it was so painful for me not to just pull the plug on it, I just took a back seat and I expressed to her what my concerns were. I said, listen, he spoke to me on the phone. This is what he said to me. He used this language with me. It's very disrespectful and inappropriate. I didn't appreciate that. I don't think that he is a good choice for you. However, I think you need to learn this on your own. And my only concern here is for your safety. So always keep your safety in mind. And so, and then in time, and it took a few months, but in time, she saw his true colors and made the choice for herself. And so here is the positive thing: when your child makes the choice for him or herself, and realizes their character and realizes that that's not somebody that they want to be associated with. When my daughter made that choice for herself, it was done. So once she decided that, and she said, I never want to speak to you again, or however she said it, or whatever the situation was, how she handled it, she was completely done with it. Now, let's flip it to if I banned her from seeing him or talking to him or any of that stuff. If I was to do that, then I don't think it would have been done, because she still would have had that, well, what if he is a good person, or what if he was going to change, or what if there could have been something with us even though my mom didn't like him. But by allowing her to go through the process herself and learn it on her own, she was able to come to the realization that this person wasn't the right fit for her, and to make the choice to get him out of her life and to be totally done with it. So that is a good thing. Even though I know we cringe as parents, especially the moms who really kind of look out for a guy who's going to show your daughter respect, and also the mother respect. I mean, that is all character, right? And how they were raised, right? And so that's very important. So I'm going to close this video for now. Video 11, it was dealing with your son or daughter's first love, which can be defined as puppy love. So those are the tips here: is create your boundaries, establish a supportive role, and be there for him or her when they come to you with their emotions and their confusion and they need your guidance. Okay, so thank you so much. I will see you in video 12. Goodbye.